If you've already tried the baking soda trick, I need you to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. Millions of people over 60 have discovered this on their own. They dissolve half a teaspoon of baking soda in warm water first thing in the morning, and something changes. The burning in the feet feels a little quieter. The electric jolts that come out of nowhere seem slightly less sharp. For a few hours, there's something that almost feels like relief, and they think, Finally something that works. Here's what I have to tell you. That relief is real. I'm not dismissing it. There is actual science behind why baking soda creates that temporary change in your body. But here's what nobody is telling you. And this is the part that matters most. While you're feeling that temporary relief, the real damage continues. The underlying process that is destroying your nerves does not stop because your pH shifted slightly for a few hours. And if you spend the next 2 or 3 years managing the feeling instead of addressing the cause, you will reach a point where no morning ritual can give you back what you've lost. Stay with me, because in the next several minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what is happening inside your nervous system right now, why that baking soda response tells you something critically important about your biology, and what the research increasingly suggests can actually support real nerve recovery from the inside. This is one of the most important things I can share with you today. I've been working with patients over 60 for decades. Senior health has been my clinical focus for my entire career, and there is one pattern I have seen repeat itself over and over again until it breaks my heart. A person starts noticing symptoms in their feet. Maybe it begins as a mild tingling, a little numbness after sitting too long. They ignore it for a year. Then the burning starts. They go to their doctor. They get a 10-minute appointment. They leave with a prescription for gabapentin or Lyrica. The medication blurs their thinking, makes them dizzy, disrupts their sleep, and the symptoms return anyway, so they start looking for other answers. The baking soda trick. The warm foot soak, the Epsom salt bath, anything that creates a few hours of relief. And I want to say this clearly. This is not your fault. Nobody told you what was actually happening. Nobody sat down with you and explained the real mechanism. That's what I'm here to do right now. I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about the last time you woke up at 2 or 3 in the morning with that burning sensation in your feet. So intense it felt like your feet had been held over an open flame. You got up, you walked to the kitchen. Maybe you soaked your feet in cold water. Maybe you rubbed something on them, and you lay back down wondering when this is going to end. Or think about the last time you were walking through a grocery store and you had to stop and grip the cart because you weren't sure your feet were going to carry you the way they should. The floor didn't feel solid. Your balance felt wrong. You looked around hoping nobody noticed. Or think about climbing the stairs in your own home, something you've done 10,000 times. And now there's hesitation, a moment where you have to think about it. Your legs feel weaker than they should. And in that moment, something quiet and cold goes through you, because you know that this is getting worse. I've heard these stories from patients across decades, and what I've watched happen, when the real cause is never addressed, is a progression that is deeply unnecessary. In the beginning, it's manageable. The tingling is annoying but livable. The burning at night disrupts sleep, but it's survivable. But over time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, the nervous system continues to deteriorate. The numbness spreads. The loss of sensation moves upward from the toes toward the ankles, toward the calves. Balance becomes unreliable. Falls start happening. And falls, for people over 65, are not minor events. Falls are the #1 cause of accidental death in that age group. Neuropathy is one of the leading risk factors. I've watched patients go from mild tingling to a walker in 3 years because nobody addressed the underlying cause. I've seen people lose toes. I've sat with families after a hip fracture. I've watched people who were vibrant and independent become dependent on their children for basic daily tasks. And I can tell you from watching this happen, that loss of independence is devastating in a way that goes far beyond the physical. It touches something at the core of who a person believes they are. If what I'm sharing today is new to you, and I suspect it is, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I release critical health information for people over 60 every week. Information your doctor may not have time to share in a routine appointment. Hit the subscribe button below. It costs nothing, and it could be one of the most important health decisions you make today. Now, let me explain what is actually happening inside your body, because this is where the baking soda response becomes genuinely interesting. Your peripheral nerves, every nerve outside your brain and spinal cord, the ones running through your feet and legs and hands are essentially electrical cables. And like any electrical cable, they have a protective coating. That coating is called myelin. When the myelin sheath is intact, nerve signals travel cleanly and at full speed. When it deteriorates, signals leak. They distort, they misfire, and you feel that as burning, as electric shocks, as numbness, as that sensation of walking on foam. That's not mystery. That is a damaged cable trying to carry a signal it can no longer fully contain. Now here's what baking soda actually does. When you dissolve baking soda in water and drink it, you're temporarily shifting the acid-alkaline balance in your body. And here's the thing. Peripheral nerves are extraordinarily sensitive to pH. Even a small shift toward alkalinity can temporarily reduce nerve hyperexcitability. The misfiring calms slightly. The pain signals quiet. Not because the nerve is healing, but because the chemical environment around the nerve has changed for a few hours. It's like reducing the electrical interference on a damaged cable by adjusting the surrounding medium. The cable is still damaged, but the signal temporarily gets a little cleaner. That is why you feel relief. That is why this is real, not placebo. And now that you understand the mechanism, I want you to understand something even more important. But here's what makes this even more serious. And I'll get to that in just a moment. What is actually destroying the myelin coating? The research on this is clear, even if it rarely reaches the people who need it most. There are several converging processes. The first is a deficiency most people over 60 develop and never know about. Vitamin B12, specifically in its active form, methylcobalamin, is the single most critical nutrient for myelin production and maintenance. After the age of 60, the stomach loses a significant portion of its ability to absorb B12 from food. The intrinsic factor, the protein that carries B12 through the intestinal wall, becomes less effective. Studies suggest deficiency in this vitamin affects up to 40% of adults over 60. And if you are taking metformin for diabetes or prediabetes, that number rises sharply. Metformin actively blocks B12 absorption. This means millions of diabetics are taking a medication that directly depletes the nutrient their nerves need most, and most of them have never been told. The second process is oxidative damage. Over decades, unstable molecules called free radicals accumulate inside nerve cells. They attack the mitochondria, the tiny power generators inside each cell. When nerve cell mitochondria are damaged, the cell loses its ability to produce energy, to maintain its protective coating, to signal correctly. Standard antioxidants from food and most supplements cannot reach the interior of nerve cells effectively. The damage accumulates silently. The third process is chronic low-grade inflammation, not the visible inflammation of an injury, but a systemic inflammatory state that operates silently for years and gradually attacks the peripheral nervous system. Researchers have observed that this inflammatory state is significantly elevated in people with peripheral neuropathy compared to those without, and it doesn't resolve on its own. Without specific nutritional intervention, it continues. And that brings us to why this is getting more serious, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about a discovery that most people in the medical community have largely ignored. Researchers studying peripheral nerve regeneration have found something remarkable. The peripheral nervous system, unlike the central nervous system, retains a meaningful capacity for regeneration throughout adult life. Nerve fibers can regrow, myelin can be resynthesized, but this process requires specific precursor nutrients. And when those nutrients are depleted, as they commonly are after 60, regeneration stalls. The damage outpaces the repair. What the data shows is that when the specific nutritional deficiencies driving neuropathy are addressed, many patients begin experiencing measurable improvements in nerve conduction, not overnight, but progressively. The body has a real capacity to respond. This is something I wish I could tell every patient personally. I had a patient, I'll call him Robert, 67 years old, a retired contractor from the Midwest, came to me after more than 4 years of worsening neuropathy. He'd been on gabapentin for 3 of those years, still waking up at night with burning feet, still gripping walls when he walked down his hallway in the dark. His neurologist had told him the neuropathy was progressive and irreversible. He came to me not expecting much. He had genuinely resigned himself to decline. We ran a comprehensive nutritional panel. His B12 was critically low despite taking a standard supplement because he was taking cyanocobalamin, the synthetic form that doesn't penetrate nerve tissue effectively. His alpha-lipoic acid levels were depleted. His vitamin D was severely deficient. We restructured his nutritional support entirely. Within about 4 months, he told me he had slept through the night for the first time in 2 years. At 6 months, he stopped gripping the wall. He was careful not to overclaim, and so am I. But what I saw clinically aligned precisely with what the research increasingly suggests is possible. This isn't just about the burning in your feet. I want you to understand the full weight of what chronic neuropathy does to a life. It destroys sleep, and the research on the consequences of chronic sleep deprivation is profound. Cognitive decline accelerates, immune function drops, mood deteriorates. The person who used to be sharp and engaged starts withdrawing. Then there's the isolation. People stop going out because they're afraid of falling on uneven pavement. They stop attending family dinners because sitting in chairs for hours makes the pain unbearable. They step back from the grandchildren, not because they want to, but because they're terrified of losing their balance and falling while holding a child. I've seen people give up dancing, something they'd done their whole lives. I've seen people give up their vegetable gardens because they can no longer trust their feet on uneven ground. And underneath all of this runs a current of shame and grief that most people never speak aloud. The sense that their body has betrayed them, the fear of becoming dependent, the quiet grief of watching their world get smaller. I've put together a short presentation that goes much deeper into everything I've covered today. It includes specific approaches that I've seen work for patients in exactly this situation. The link is in the description below. Watch it when you have a quiet moment. I think it's going to answer a lot of questions you didn't even know you had. Now let me tell you about the natural compounds that the research increasingly supports for peripheral nerve health. The first and most critical is methylcobalamin. This is the active form of vitamin B12 that crosses directly into nerve tissue, not cyanocobalamin, the cheap synthetic form found in most grocery store vitamins that has to be converted before it can be used, and in many people over 60, that conversion is significantly impaired. Methylcobalamin has been extensively studied for its direct role in myelin synthesis. Research has shown it supports the re-ensheathing of damaged nerve fibers, actually helping rebuild the protective coating. In my clinical experience, patients who were taking cyanocobalamin for years and switched to methylcobalamin in the correct therapeutic dose often noticed meaningful differences within weeks. Many patients describe a gradual reduction in the burning sensation, especially at night. The tingling often begins to normalize over time. That is not coincidence. That is the nerve beginning to receive something it desperately needed. The second compound is alpha-lipoic acid. This is an antioxidant that operates specifically inside nerve cells, neutralizing the oxidative damage that accumulates over decades and that standard antioxidants simply cannot reach. It is one of the most researched natural compounds for peripheral nerve support, and it is particularly unique in that it is both fat-soluble and water-soluble, meaning it can penetrate cell membranes and operate in multiple environments simultaneously. Researchers have observed in clinical settings that regular alpha-lipoic acid supplementation at therapeutic doses significantly reduces nerve pain and improves nerve conduction velocity in patients with peripheral neuropathy. The third is benfotiamine, the fat-soluble form of vitamin B1. Standard thiamine does not penetrate nerve tissue effectively. Benfotiamine does. It has been studied in European clinical settings for decades, specifically for its role in protecting nerves from glucose-related damage. For anyone with diabetes, prediabetes, or chronically elevated blood sugar, and many people over 60 are in this category without knowing it, glucose damages the tiny blood vessels that supply the peripheral nerves. Benfotiamine directly addresses that mechanism. It protects the vascular supply to the nerves. It is foundational to any serious nutritional approach to nerve health. And this brings me to something I think is critically important for you to understand. Why hasn't your doctor told you about any of this? I want to be very clear. This is not a conspiracy. It is a system problem. The average physician has between 7 and 12 minutes with a patient. They are trained to prescribe, and the prescription options for neuropathy are gabapentin and Lyrica. Those drugs suppress pain signals. They don't address the underlying nutritional depletion. They don't rebuild myelin. They don't reduce oxidative damage in nerve cells. They make the symptom quieter while the process continues. And the side effects, cognitive fog, dizziness, dependency, withdrawal, are often as debilitating as the original condition. The research on nutritional approaches to nerve health exists. It is published. It is real. real, but it doesn't reach the exam room. And so people suffer for years from something that might have responded to a different approach. That is the honest truth of where we are. Remember what I said at the beginning about the baking soda, about why it gives you those few hours of relief. Now you understand the full picture. The pH shift quiets the hyperexcitability of a nerve that is damaged, depleted of the nutrients it needs to protect and repair itself, attacked by oxidative stress and inflammation for years, slowly losing its protective coating. The baking soda is your body signaling something. It is telling you that your peripheral nervous system is chemically dysregulated. And now that you understand what is actually driving that, you understand what it actually needs. You are not powerless here. Your body has a remarkable capacity to respond when given the right support. And now you know something that most people your age will never learn. If today's video opened your eyes to something important, share it with someone you care about, because there are millions of people over 60 dealing with this silently, and they don't have to. The short presentation in the description goes even deeper. I highly recommend watching it when you have a quiet moment. Subscribe for more critical health information every week, and leave a comment below. What was the most surprising thing you learned today? I read every single one.